going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we're going to make a video talking about tips for saving money for those of you who are looking to move to Arizona. And we're going to talk about some tips, and I'm also going to encourage some of you who've already made the move to share your tips with people in the comment section below. So I would recommend you also check the comments, because people are going to comment on this video and share their tips with you, things that I may miss. So I think when you're moving to Phoenix, and if you're cost conscious and you want to save money, there's a couple things you're just going to want to do right off the bat. Make sure that where you're going to be working and where you're going to be living are within a short commute. Gas prices can add up if you're living in Peoria and working in Tempe. So if you're working in Tempe, you should probably consider the Southeast Valley, or vice versa. So just that's one way right there you're going to start saving some money right off the bat. Number one. Number two is also where you're moving. Are there going to be additional hidden costs like HOAs, extra electrical bills? So you're going to want to look into that. Also, when you're moving into a place, is your air conditioning unit going to be an energy saver, or is it going to be an energy sucker? So some air conditioner units, you run the AC during the summertime, you could be stuck with a $400 power bill. But some of them are so efficient, $130 a month, and you're still running it quite a bit, and your home's cool. Some of the things you can do out here in Arizona that will insulate your house from the extreme heat outside: sunshades. Just sunshades, they might cost you $250 to install 4 or 5 of them on windows that are facing the sun, but long term that's going to save you money. People have considered solar panels to cut down on that, because then they'll be producing their own power, although that has not proven to be a short-term solution. You typically, in order to pay off the difference with the tax rebate and the amount of savings, it's going to take you 5 to 10 years at least before you even start seeing a benefit of that. So if you're moving into a home that you own, you might want to consider that. So I would say when you're picking a house, whether it be a rental or whatnot, in the summertime, be conscious of the air conditioner, be conscious of the HOA fees, any other hidden cost, potentially higher insurance. And also, when you're picking an area, think about, is that an area that's more affordable? Is that an area that's higher rent? Is that high rent justified the price? Because some areas you might pay double, but you don't really need that. For example, a lot of people pick Scottsdale if they have big money and it's nice there, but you can get a pretty nice lifestyle in Gilbert and Chandler, but you're going to save half the amount of money. So those are just some quick tips, but we're also going to talk about some other things about the move and just basic stuff like that. So here's a really good insight right here on updater.com. 50 ways to save money on your move. So obviously pack yourself. Some people think they need a mover, but they don't. Look for free boxes in unexpected places: university mail rooms, the liquor store, around the office. Or you just go to the liquor store and say, hey, can I use those extra wine boxes? Costco might have them too. Use newspapers and magazines in lieu of packing peanuts and bubble wrap. So, do you have any extra? How much is it to get a newspaper? Can you use that? Can your neighbor give you their newspaper to wrap things like glass? Donate things you don't need and claim a tax reduction. Some people are so in love with the things they've had for 10 years, even if it's the littlest trinket, and they might have a whole thing of trinkets and it just takes up a bunch of space and it's not really necessary. And then you start to realize that over 50% of your house you don't really need to bring with you, and you can get a tax deduction on it by donating it to Goodwill. And I recommend considering that. You don't have to bring everything with you and just jam pack the U-Haul or the moving truck. Purchase a digital service bundle. So you can consider going with Cox Communication, for example. They've got internet, they've got home phone line, and then they've got cable TV. Another thing that you can even do out here in Arizona that is not on this list, but you can get an antenna. The free channels, just basic channels, you don't even need cable, and still you're going to have HD quality TV without having to get a cable box, believe it or not. I think you get, I want to say, at least 25 channels for free, and they're all in HD if you get an antenna. You can go to Walmart and get one of the $25 antennas Just plug it in, and that's going to save you the box, because the cable company is going to want to charge you $10 per TV with a box. So it's 10. That's extra. If you got 2 TVs, that's 2 extra TVs. So I'm saying if you got kids and they want a TV in their room, just get them an antenna. You don't need to get them cable. I mean, you might only need 1 TV in the house that has cable, and even then, there's other solutions like YouTube TV, and I mean, it's getting to the point where cable TV better watch out. I mean, satellite, you can already see satellite TV's gone down the wayside. Another thing that you can even consider out here is Verizon. Now you can even get it to the point where you have your cell phone bill, your internet, and your cable. I think Verizon's even doing TV, or you might not need. You do the antenna thing and just use Verizon for the internet and your cell phone. You see, and you're saving money right there. And that's just consolidating and getting all this extra expenditures out of the way. I always recommend, if you're going to buy a house, get your mortgage, your insurance, and your HOA fee just lumped in there right away. That's what I would do. I think sometimes you overpay in taxes and you get a tax refund at the end of the year doing that. Ask your movie company for a fixed price, rather than an estimate. You want to know exactly how much it's going to cost, and, paid in full. You want one of those. Let's see. Confirm with your moving company that they don't sneak in extra fees. This is becoming common, is that there's always these extra fees. It's like on top of tax, there's these extra fees that you just don't know about, right? Here's a good one. Use blankets to wrap big things, like maybe you have big pots or vases. Use your blankets, because you're going to already put your blankets somewhere anyway. So use that kind of stuff to wrap and protect other things. It's kind of like doubling down. And then when packing, nest smaller items inside a larger items to save money on moving boxes. This is another one of those things. You can put things inside vases. Like if you have an aquarium, what can you put in the aquarium if it's drained with water, right? I'm just giving you some ideas on stuff like that. You guys can check out this list, updater.com. And then, so things I wish I knew before moving to Arizona. This is on slap-mom.com. Check out her website. She's got this article here. And she's saying, she's talking about hummingbirds. So she wishes she knew about a hummingbird feeder. People like to visit us during the winter to escape the snow. There are a few things I wish I knew before deciding to move to Arizona. Okay, she's talking about haboobs. These are just basic things. Humidity. There is humidity during the summer months because of the monsoons. We've already mentioned that. Snowbirds. We've talked about that. Snowbirds are older people from Canada, Sandusky, Ohio, and Chicago, and New York, and they come down here to get rid of, or get away from the extreme cold in the wintertime, and the streets just get jam-packed. And that's another reason why you don't want to be too far away. I'm going to actually be making a video talking about the driving situation out here and why that is such a problem. Because driving out here, I think all across the nation, it is a problem. But I'm going to really zero in what it is about driving in Phoenix that is annoying and frustrating. And the more people on the road, the more crazy things get. Not just log jams, but just crazy. Yes, it's really 120 degrees. Well, no, it hasn't been 120 degrees, but I mean, people have said they go outside and it's 108 degrees, and they thought it was going to be 108 degrees was going to be a lot worse than it feels. They could still go outside and walk. I mean, it's going to be hot, okay, like hot, but a lot of you are going to be able to still function. But people are concerned about that in July and August. I used to work outside in the heat all day in the middle of July and August. It was hot, but I mean, I used to be outside in it all the time. I mean, I would find shade in the heat of the day. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was finding shade under trees as much as possible. But, that's going to also have an effect. You're going to get dehydration. You're going to need to drink extra water. So you might consider getting a water softener instead of buying these water bottles. All these water bottles, what do you do with all the bottles when you're done? You throw them away, so they're just polluting more and more. You get a water softener that has filtration, and you pay $1,200 for a basic model. You could pay as much as $5,000 for a higher end model, but you're going to be, at least over time, that's going to pay for itself. But if you're going to be needing to drink a lot of water and stay hydrated, your plants, etc., at least you've got clean filtered water instead of having to go to Fry's and pay $4 a pop, blah, blah, blah. This whole no cold water ever, I'm not going to subscribe to that idea, but the creepy crawlies, this is something that you're going to deal with, whether it be mouse infestations, like little mice. I mean, you could go to the Walmart, you can go to Fry's, you can go to the grocery store and find these things called Tomcat, and they're little mouse traps. I mean, you don't have to call in the infestation guy who's going to basically set the traps. You can get the traps yourself. You could even get like Raid bug spray killer. I mean, you don't necessarily have to hire the professionals to spray your yard, but it can help out. But you can also do that yourself and save some money instead of doing this monthly thing. The old people ratio. Okay, so you can see she's got a lot of stuff on here that she's kind of frustrated about. Construction, highways, dehydration is a thing, dust is everywhere, car washes. Yeah, I mean, learning to wash your own car can save you money. Here's something that is worth taking a look at. Trip Savvy. On a budget, 25 ways to save money in Phoenix. Free things to do with kids. So there's mall playgrounds, splash pads, free crafts, libraries. All these communities have these little playgrounds out there. So at 7 o'clock at night, you can go take the kids down there, go to the ball field, play catch, play frisbee with the dog and the kids, whatever you want to do. Kids eat free. There are some restaurants that have that, right? Free and cheap things to do in Scottsdale. Scottsdale's not all pay as you go, right? I mean, there are some options that you have with the Scottsdale trolley taking you around town. That's park and ride, right? Discount theater and sport and event tickets. I'm sure many of you are already savvy to this and thrifty enough to already know what you got to do, but definitely when you come here, be reminded to look into these alternatives where you can find budget saving options for entertainment. Dollar stores. Dollar stores are still a thing. I cannot believe with all this inflation, we can still get things for 99 cents. I mean, here's a perfect example. I have these plants. They're water lilies, right? Or, so, you put them in your pond and they create water lilies, or they grow up. But when you put it in the pot, you have to put native clay in there because you can't put potting soil. So when you put it in the pond, you don't want all of that sediment to go into your pond. So I put these rocks on there. Well, those rocks at Home Depot might cost $7. We're talking aquarium rocks, or just little polished sandstones. You can get those same things at the dollar store. You don't have to pay the $7.99 at Home Depot for a jar of rocks. You can just get them at the dollar stores. It's just stuff like that, like little things that Walmart might be charging $2.99. Just go to find out they're 99 cents. So, I mean, these are not high quality stuff, but you get the point. Thrift store is still a thing. You can find some decent stuff at thrift stores. As always, if you go to a thrift store in Buckeye, you're not going to find as good a stuff, say, as you go to a thrift store in Scottsdale. So if you're looking for the good stuff, go to the Goodwill that's closer to where the people with the money live, and you might find some designer clothing in that. So that's a tip right there. I mean, if you go to a low-income thrift store or low-income area thrift store, you're going to get lower quality than if you go to Scottsdale or Paradise Valley thrift stores. Save money on your electric bill. We've talked about that. That's just energy efficient appliances. I mean, you might even ask your apartment complex or condo or your rental if they're using energy efficient appliances, because that's going to affect your bill. So you could be saving $100 on your mortgage, but come to find out, you're going to be ending up paying more because you're paying more for electrical and all that. So you should have just got the better place anyway, but you thought because you were saving money on your rent or mortgage that you were really saving money, not considering the utilities. Public swimming pools, those are still an option. You don't necessarily have to build a pool or rent a pool have it in your backyard. You can just go to the community pool. There's many community pools, a cactus pool. I mean, there's all these different areas, water parks galore, but public pools, I think sometimes it's $2, $3, or you can get a monthly pass or a weekly pass. And you get to go to the pool. Your kids can spend the day at the pool with lifeguards if they have them. Free museums, yes, they exist here, believe it or not. There are free museums, free festivals, concerts, and events. Save money, use the library. Libraries are still a popular thing. Cheap haircuts, cheap dental care, clothing exchanges, swap meets, those are here. We have those. Find reasonably priced furniture. So that's a big thing. People use these buy, sell, and trade groups on Facebook. Sometimes you'll find someone trying to sell a bicycle for $700, and then you'll find just a skosh below the same bike that person's trying to get $700 for, and you can get it for $100. So some people, they think that if they own something for 3 years, they can still only knock off 10% on what their originally purchase price was. Believe it or not, I actually say something to those people. I'm like, come on, $1,600 for used patio furniture? You really think someone on Facebook buy, sell, and trade is going to pay $1,600 for some chairs? Come on. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And these were just, they were like Lowe's chairs that there were 6 of them, and they probably cost, I don't know how much. But you can also go on here, check out the moving cost calculator on Move Buddha. If you need to know what area you're moving to, you can get a cost calculator. Obviously, these are not, those are just estimators. Read this before you go. Life Storage blog, where to go outdoors. So there's plenty of activities: saltwater tubing, Auction Pavilion, South Mountain Park. Hiking is pretty much, for the most part, free. Going to the lake is pretty much free. Unless you got a boat, you're going to need to pay for the boat to get in there. Some things that you should know about moving to Phoenix: the logistics. Apply for an Arizona state driver's license once you move. Also, register your vehicle at the DMV if you're coming from out of state. Figure out when your garbage day is in your neighborhood. That's another thing, because sometimes they come on Fridays. If you wait, say you move in, you're like, well, I'm going to wait to call the trash guy, till the 4th day. And then you find out that he's not coming for another week, then that might just be to drop off the trash bin. So let's say they come every Friday, and you finally call them on Saturday. So the next delivery is not going to be your trash cans on Sunday or Monday. It's going to be your trash cans that next Friday, and then following that is going to be the pickup the following Friday. So you're really looking at 2 weeks before they come and pick up your trash. So that's why it's important to know what day your trash is getting picked up, and then have the cans already dropped off, so you're not dealing with a 2-week window. You're only dealing with a 1-week window. So just a lot of different things to consider. I hope this list is helping you guys. There's pros and cons to everything about this, finding low-cost insurance. We can go into other videos if you guys have any questions, but please do, this is for CaliforniaMoversUSA.com. Please do drop a comment below letting me know what you'd like me to talk about. Here's the DMV.org for Arizona. You can see all the rules and regulations, things to know about smog checks, car insurance, special vehicle registration, what kind of cars are going to be expensive. Some of you might want to get rid of your car before you move here, and you might want to know what the registration price is for the new vehicle that you're going to get, opposed to the one that you already have, because maybe one vehicle is going to cost you $200 a month, the other one might, or $200 a year, the other one might cost you $380 a year. Who knows? Also, you might want to check the insurance prices before you come out here, especially if you got time to lean. So yeah, just check this channel out. You can click on any one of these other videos that we've got across this channel. We've got so many different subjects. This is just one of them for those of you who are trying to move to Phoenix. But some of this stuff applies to the whole state of Arizona. And we'll see you guys next time.